Hey, what's up? My name is John Bonjour. I am the writer and artist of the free comic Edge of Bordertown, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit special. It is American Thanksgiving. Well, tomorrow technically is American Thanksgiving. We're going to be drawing a mutated freak psycho turkey versus the Pilgrims. I want to get some fun perspective. Give him teeth, of course. Okay, I'm just real loose here. I also haven't looked at like a picture of a turkey in a hot minute, so we're going almost exclusively off of memory, which I think normally would be bad if I was trying to draw like an actual turkey, but in this case it's probably gonna genuinely help me because it's gonna be so much weirder. It's gotta be in like a foresty type area. I want it to be from the top down probably, and I want him to be fighting these pilgrims who are gonna be pretty small. That seems about right. Okay. Oh, maybe on the wing, that would be funnier. Whoa. What do you guys normally do for your Thanksgiving traditions? I would love to hear. My family always does like a big meal and we go around and say things that we're thankful for, which is always very sweet. I want him to have big bug eyes. I don't know. This is kind of like a boring... It's exciting. I mean, it's fun, but it's kind of a boring size. Not size, perspective. Let's try this again. I liked the general idea we were going for there, but I want something a little more exciting, a little more fun, so we're going to have it... say come in here, teeth again, big spooky bug eyes. This is going to be our body back here. Maybe we'll move him down some. Let's have one guy running from him here. This is going to be much better. Have one guy once again kind of hanging out the back here. Maybe we'll have one up here. Yes, okay, I like this a lot better. Yeah, like I said, a lot of this is going to come out in the inking because I have a general idea for what I'm going to be doing. And then we'll bring this up. Still be in the forest setting, but we can go for a little bit more background, a little sky. We'll get to see a little bit more in here. Okay, I already like this a ton more. And we're going to hop pretty much directly into inking, I think. I know, we're making that black. I found these really cool brushes by a guy named Clayton Henry. His ink bleed is just an exceptional brush. I had to change it a little bit so it could get a little bigger. We can get up to that size, but then we can also get down to that size. It's an incredible brush set, honestly. Clayton Henry, again, highly recommend. All right, this is where I have the biggest vision for the guy. So we're just gonna go for it. I'm really excited about what I have in mind here. Just to be clear, I have edited this some, but I still have not looked at what a turkey looks like. Maybe at the end of this, I'll Google a picture of a turkey and see how I did. I think the turkey, okay, so my idea for this, generally speaking, is that the turkey is getting some sort of Thanksgiving revenge. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, you know what I've decided? He's traveled from the future. He was mutated by GMOs, and he is now coming back to get revenge and change the story for what we eat at Thanksgiving. I don't even want him to have eyelids. I did for a second. Maybe down here he'll have eyelid. Yes. Very extremely good. Okay. Also, sorry, I try not to move the canvas too much. I've gotten some feedback a while back that me moving the canvas can be a little bit disorienting for just viewing, so I'm working on that. But, you can only do so much. I want to give him some real sharp eyes here. I'm going for a little bit more cartoony than I might normally, mixed with a little bit of realism. Not realism, but normally I would go for just like a classic comic book style. I'm going for a little more cartoony than that for this, just because I think it's fun and it gets me a chance to play in a style that I don't normally get to do. Give him some feathers around the eyes. I also think his eyes need to be just like real dark circles under him. He needs to look like a sicko. That's important. I love when birds look like sickos. We are also super early on this channel, so let me know if you want me to do something else with these. I don't know. I'm treating these as kind of like a fun holiday hangout. You can just something to watch when you're a little bored, if you're like lonely on the holiday, or if you just have punched my microphone there. I don't know, if you just have like, I gotta plug my computer in here. If you have some time that you just want to hang out with somebody, and it doesn't have to be your family members, that can be a little bit much, because I get it. Maybe that's what these are. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, I'm gonna keep working on this for a little bit. I love the way that eye is going, and then I'll come back in. Okay, so I had an idea, and I had to include you guys in it as part of this. So I'm in the mid inking phase. He's beautiful, obviously. So I have two details that I'm going to be adding to the head here. One, I think it would be really funny to have him just be like a crazy cross-eyed freak lunatic. So we're gonna do that. Yeah, oh, that works. Okay, and then two, the thing I was thinking about turkeys. And then I remembered that there's something very important that we need to include in this bad boy, which is gonna be, and then I'm gonna come around here, do some of that here. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. And so then now he has this little gobble neck, whatever you call those. There's a word for that. What is it? Turkey. Shoot, there's a word. What do you call these things? Gobble boys. He's got his gobble boys. Oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm really happy with that. So I'm gonna jump back in, and then we'll be back. So many interesting things you're drawing, John. So many cool points. Hey, while I've got your attention, would you please read my comic? It is free, 100% free, and it always will be. Edge of Border Town. It is on johnbonart.com. That is JONBONART.com. And if you enjoy the comic, if you enjoy the things I'm doing on this channel, you should check out my Patreon. It's patreon.com/johnbonjour. I do exclusive art over there. I share the pages of Edge of Border Town a week early. It's a really good time and a really fun vibe, and it allows things like Border Town and like these videos to be possible. And the more people I have helping me out there, the more things I can do here, the better things I can do here. So if you have a couple of seconds, please go check out both of those things. I really appreciate it. Okay, big reveal time. So we have here our classic sketches that we were doing earlier. I'm gonna get rid of that. Shaboom inks. I've developed a lot of lore. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I am really just thoroughly enjoying drawing this huge monster turkey versus these pilgrims. I'm having just a blast. So we're gonna start here. Let me get rid of that layer. I'm trying to think like coloring tone wise that I want to go for. I feel myself wanting to go for these like calm, muted pastel kind of colors, leaning in the yellow reds kind of direction. So I want to kind of lean into that. I'm gonna make the sky kind of a greenish bluish type situation because I think that's going to play pretty well. So we're just going to drop that as a full background. Okay, I'm going to make some of it just a little bit bluer, kind of toward the top here. Let me texture this just a little bit more. Go for an artistic. Leatherwood's always a good like kind of pseudo cloud looking thing. If you guys use Procreate, just like, it's incredible. I every day I'm blown away by what I'm able to like achieve just visually with this. It's a $20 program, I think, and it has saved my life in so many ways from a visual perspective. So just a huge fan of Procreate. You know, I wonder, okay, we're gonna try this. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. If I use that as a reference layer, yeah, you know what? That's not terrible. I can get rid of some of that. I always love using it as a reference because it saves me so much time in the base colors. It's just so much easier. It does tend to kind of have some issues, like you can see here. For whatever reason, it doesn't read this as like a line. I don't know why that is. But you know what? Because this is gonna be on a layer lower than pretty much anything else, aside from the ground. Okay, that won't do. We need the ground. Okay, so you can also change if you just press and hold and then pull, you can change what it's reading as the thing, as the like boundary box. What's feather and what's tree gets a little tough. Okay, that's obviously too much. The danger of going too far down there, I'll show you here, is you can kind of start to have a little, yeah, there we go. You can start to have a little edge if your color drop percentage is too low. So in this case, I'm going to drop it higher, see what I can do. So 51 on that one. And then some of these, it's like, I don't know if I'm gaining that much time, so I'm just going to physically color that one in. Something you want to be thinking about as you're inking, this isn't really a teaching video, but something I think about as I'm inking is like, okay, am I connecting all my lines? Or if I'm not, is it for an intentional purpose? And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, alpha lock that layer. I'm gonna make this a darker tree because I want it to kind of feel toward the back and not distract from the colors that I'm going for here. This is good. Okay, bumping ahead here. Once again, kind of leaning into the mostly yellow type stuff. So I'm going to be dropping, whoa, that bush. Okay, there we go. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily matter also. Like you'll notice in some of my art, I do occasionally just leave things like that. I'll erase it now that I noticed it, but I'm not super worried about being exactly perfect. If you wanted an image that looked exactly perfect, you can always ask a stupid generative AI to do some dumb dog shit. But I want something that looks like it was made by human hands, and I have human hands, and I don't want to worry too much about getting everything exactly 100% right. I care more about getting the feeling and the tone of what I'm trying to draw right. So I don't always care. On this layer, I'm going to, yeah, that's going to be good. Use that for our rocks over here. Normally, like my normal color palette is to go lean pretty blue heavy. So this is going to be an interesting challenge to kind of not let myself do that. So far, I think it's working fairly well, but you know, we'll just have to see. Also, I just noticed up here, that is again the danger, one of the dangers of using your inking as a reference layer. Sometimes it doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to run into issues like that, like where you'll have little broken pieces or whatever. I feel like I want this floor to be a little dark mossy green kind of thing. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, yeah, I'm loving that. So we're gonna go back here, drop some of those colors in. Okay, because I know that this is gonna be behind the turkey anyway, with areas like this, I have no idea what's turkey and what's not, so I'm just gonna fully like color that section in, and then it's a lower layer than the turkey anyway, so it doesn't matter. The turkey will cover that, but then I can at least kind of assure that I have something filled in there. Yo, whoa, huge brush. Anyway, yeah, what are your guys' what are your Thanksgiving traditions? What do you normally do? I'm very interested to hear because I think everybody, I actually don't know if my audience is primarily from the US or not, but if you're not, do you guys have a holiday that's like American Thanksgiving where you just all get together and eat a bunch of food that's probably really bad for you? I don't know. I also think people have kind of lost the plan for Thanksgiving. A lot of people don't actually do anything for it. They just kind of go like, I don't know, I get together with my family and whatever. But it's nice to have a holiday that kind of reminds you why you care about stuff, and I think Thanksgiving is a good version of that. Christmas also works for that. Okay, you know, I'm not loving back here this sandy color that I've chosen, so I'm gonna go lean a little bit more into the green, I think, for that. Yes, okay, I like that a lot more. I feel like that this is crafting a vision, making something that I want it to look a certain way, and I never know exactly how I want anything that I draw to look. I shouldn't say anything, but most of what I draw, I don't always know how I want it to look before I start, and I just kind of let it develop itself. Okay, so this, you can see, didn't actually fully connect down there, so I just have to come in and color that in myself, which is fine. Or go into the inking layer and change that, but that's a lot of work. I also generally, not really like a hard and fast rule, but I generally don't like to adjust my inking for coloring purposes. Sometimes it's worth it, but most of the time I find it just kind of loses the point. Okay, so this is fun. These are flat colors. I was gonna say that it's looking a little bland, but these are flat colors. That is literally the point. So we're gonna get all the colors in, and then we'll kind of play around with lighting later once we're done with the full shading and colors and all that. Should I be looking at what a turkey looks like at this point to get coloring? Probably. Am I gonna? No, don't suspect so. But I did the exact opposite. No, I don't think I will, but I probably should be. So I'm going for like, I want him to be extremely battle damaged, verging on like zombie. I think he's just an extremely strong turkey. Part of I think I mentioned before, he's back from the future to get retribution for all his fallen brothers, but also I think he has been mutated so much that like pain isn't the same for him anymore. It doesn't really mean anything to him. He's just on a tear. This is a comic or movie that I would love to see or make, or just, you know, I just want it to exist. I don't care who does it. This video is probably running a little long in the tooth, but I don't know. I think it's fun, and it's all about hanging out. It's not really about getting everything done as quickly as possible, right? You guys are here for it, or you're not. And I'm saying this to no one. I left a lot of like feathering, not feathers, but feathering, where you have like cross hatching or straight lines that kind of feather out into themselves, which makes it a lot harder to use the layer as like a guide for your colors, which is fine. It doesn't actually matter. I haven't entirely decided what coloring style I want to go for. If it's going to be like a cell shading or a painting kind of thing. I don't entirely know yet. We shall see. Something tells me I want to lean a little more paintery than cell shade. I think maybe I'll use some wet acrylic brushes to get some of that shading in. I just think that would be fun. Oh yeah, that's the other danger when you use these as reference layers, is you can get something like this randomly. If you hit just right on the exact side of a line or something like that, it'll fully just wrap around the entirety of your line art that's connected, which is bad. And I've had to completely restart several different coloring pieces because of that, so you just have to be careful. If you don't catch it early enough, you can't go back and undo it, and then you have to either restart, erase, or just go with it, and going with it almost never works. I don't think I have anything else to say about these right now, so I'm gonna finish up getting some base colors down for the turkey, and then we'll hop back in and I'll show you some more detailed texturing. Okay, so I've gone ahead and made some decisions. First of all, yeah, it's glorious, and I'm uniquely excited about what we're crafting here. I've made some decisions. First of all, I made the entirety of the turkey on one layer because, you know, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm just gonna make a clipping mask here. Normally, I wouldn't necessarily do this because it's like, doesn't always come out as good, and it's just not as like thorough and intentional. But in this case, because I already know that I'm gonna be going for a specific color palette, I'm just gonna come here and make a really dark yellow, maybe even make it a little brownish. And I'm gonna use that on a clipping mask layer for now, and then we're just gonna come in. I've got a wet acrylic brush here, just the stock standard wet acrylic brush. I'm gonna come in, start giving it some shading here as we kind of go through. In my mind, there's like sun coming from like around here behind him, so I'm gonna just sort of shade accordingly. I'll probably do 2 layers of this, maybe even 1 if I can just get the gradient right on this. But basically, obviously, this looks kind of nasty. This looks disgusting, but if you give me a second, bear with me here. I promise I've got a plan. But we're gonna get some gradient going here. I do want to shade the eyeballs. That is such a pivotal thing that it took me way too long to figure out. If you don't shave the eyeballs, gross. If you don't shade the eyeballs, it just doesn't look right. They always end up looking too flat and dead and gross and weird. Yeah, so that's a little pro tip, I guess, for you. So we're gonna come in here. This is gonna be a lot of shading. And again, I am fully aware that this does look like diarrhea. Like, I know that this looks bad, but just bear with me because it's gonna look a lot better. It's gonna be okay. But essentially, I'll show you just on this what my general plan is, and then I'll go through and adjust a bunch of things on this. This feels just about right. I will do 2 layers just so I can get a little more specific going. Then we're gonna come here, and we're just gonna drop it significantly down, bump it maybe to here-ish. 20%. I'll go 20% on this first layer. Already you can tell it does not look as bad as it did before. And now I can come in, I'll merge that down. We'll just do the head for this moment. Now I can come in and just do specific, localized, like individualized things that I want to be a little darker, specific texturing things that I want to do, and then we'll do the same kind of process for that. But that's my general. If I want to just kind of cheat and do a quick drawing that's just more fun than anything else, that's usually what I'll do because it saves me a ton of time. And honestly, it doesn't come out looking much worse. Again, normally I'm used to working in like a blues palette, and blue does a lot better with this, so I'm interested to see how this ends up kind of coming out in whole. But so far it's looking good. I'm excited. And then we'll come in. Well, again, I'll do some lighting things toward the end here that I'll show you guys that are going to be, I think, pretty good. I'm gonna leave a little bounce light on his beak here. Actually, this is good. You can tell if I just drop this down a little bit. you can tell how much like this looks like just a flat, boring eye, and this looks like an interesting eye where something's happening. And even in just the visuals, like on whole, you can tell the difference between them almost immediately. So we're gonna just shade that eye, get a little more shading on the head. Call it a day for now on the head, and I'll be back. I might go a little darker. I want it to be kind of creepy and gross. That feels good. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, everything has been mostly shaded. I may come in and do a couple of touch-ups here and there. Just not realizing that some of that is missing some shading. But before we do that, I'm just gonna work on a couple of lighting things because I had some ideas. Let's go airbrushing. I've got a clipping mask over the back here. So I'm just gonna be adding some sort of general sunlight there, making that an add, bringing it down pretty significantly. Basically, I'm just trying to get a little bit of lighting in the background so that we can get a little bit of lighting coming through now that I kind of know where I'm going. I also have a clipping mask here. So this, I'm just gonna come in and just do a whole bunch of lighting on these kinds of things, on all the feathering, all the little bits. Since I know my light is coming from right here or around there, then I know that I can kind of have the brightest light on the edges of those feathers, and then have some of the other light kind of coming in, bouncing off on the bottom a little bit, just kind of basic core lighting stuff, just to add some depth to the whole image and to the turkey in general. So we're gonna come in here and do some lighter ones. As we get further away from the direct sunlight, we can kind of make it a little bit less aggressive, a little bit less harsh lighting. So we can add some just kind of general lighting over here. Basically what we're trying to do here is give the turkey some form and highlight him a little bit. So in this case, we'll come in here on the beak. And I'll probably do a couple of rounds of this as well, just because I think, oh, low battery, cool. Probably do a couple of rounds of this as well, just to kind of focus in, get some rim lighting going specifically. But essentially that's the core of what we're doing here. And then I'm just gonna get a little bit around the edges over here, because again, if the light is coming from here, it's gonna kind of bounce off around this side here. So we'll just get a light layer here, just to draw him out of the background a little bit more as well. That's gonna be too much. Oh, and then once again, forgot the, whatever you call that. That's probably too harsh. I'm gonna come in, I think this is gonna be an add layer. Oh yeah, okay, so obviously that is too strong, but as we come in here, make it maybe 25%. Now we're starting to get something here. Merge that down, do another, probably a little brighter. That's where we're gonna come in here and do some of the major like rim light kind of stuff. And then I'm checking, yes, so that is gonna be cool. I'm actually gonna leave it on add so that I can see it better what we're working with, and then we'll adjust opacity as we go. Basically, I just wanna highlight specific edges. We'll probably catch something here and here just to kind of give that a little depth. I just wanna highlight specific edges so that we feel the three-dimensionality of this bird. And then we'll come here, do the same thing there. Just again, bring it out of the background a little bit. Lighting is such a pivotal piece of art, especially in the style that I do, because as you saw before on the basic colors, they're pretty bland, pretty dull, and especially for something like this, they're designed to be pretty dull, because lighting is going to be where we get the most fun kind of elements come out of it. And then I'm going to do all of these same processes for all of the trees and the people and all of that, and hopefully we'll get something a little bit more life, with a little extra life to it. I also have a plan. I'm going to go through and add some kind of light rays coming in. The lighting is going to be a key component to this particular piece. All right, I feel pretty good about that. We'll catch this because these would be catching the edges. Yeah, okay, that feels great. Merge that down, and turkey is just about done. We'll add some other effects later on. Here we go. We've got a lot of the effects done here. I am very excited about the few things that I'm going to adjust here. I've gone through and added quite a few blood effects to the turkey in general. That actually reminds me, I'm gonna do one more here. I've got like a big fat nozzle spray paint kind of situation going on. Just adds a little extra, oh, that is far too much. Adds a little extra chaos to the business that I think is a lot of fun. This is, after all, a horror image, more or less. So I'm just gonna add a few kind of splattery bits there. You know what? I like it being pretty aggressive, so we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna go through and clipping mask, add a few more just kind of random pieces, because I think it's funny if there's a story that we haven't really seen, and that story involves a lot of pain from someone to someone. I don't exactly know who, but again, just some fun texturing there that I think is good. I also wanted to, while we're at it, clipping mask, throw some blood, maybe a little darker because it may be dried. I'm gonna throw some blood like on the tree a little bit, just because I think it's fun to come up with like, oh, what happened here. Same thing with this one. Maybe not both in the shadow. We'll add one maybe like here. I'll adjust it again. It's a clipping mask, so I can just kind of move some stuff around, which is very good, very fun. Yeah, okay, it's gonna bleed into, no pun intended. Good, it's gonna bleed into the rock down here. I really like that. I like that a lot. Okay, I'm gonna change this a little bit because I think it came out a little too aggressive. Even so, especially looking at that one, so I want that to be a little less. I'll just come in here and add a little more to this one. This is good. Okay, let's see. Maybe a little bit. We'll play around with it. Maybe a little bit here on the ground. Since it's, again, a clipping mask, I can just sort of make it look like, yeah, that's good. Make it look like that's coming off of something. I just like the idea that some stuff has happened here and it's not good. Okay, so we have all the art pretty much done. I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna add, I knew that I was gonna do this a while back. They have this cool luminescence thing. I love Procreate so much. Just a flare. Always fun because it adds just a cool touch to it. Make that an add, bring it down some. Look at that. Immediately you just see what's going on. Then we're gonna come here, similar kind of deal, and I'm just gonna throw just some general idea lines here. Okay, let's see how that looks. Good. Blur it just a little bit. All this effect stuff is just trial and error, going through a bunch of different things. Let's go hard light, but then we'll bring it down quite a bit. Kind of. I just want it to feel, you know, like it's like something's coming through, like the light is streaming through on this. So if the light's coming from there, maybe we can do, let's do another one. Actually, let's do this one behind the turkey. That'll save us so much time erasing stuff. And we'll come in and do that. See if that worked. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but close to perfect. Yeah, okay, that's really fun. I don't want it to get in the way too much, so we're just gonna go pretty chill on both of those. Final thing. We only have one more thing to do here. I'm gonna drop this under that layer, and we're gonna experiment with a little bit of different coloring type things that I feel like I always love doing these because you can just kind of finesse the colors and keep them in one palette. That actually looks pretty cool, so maybe that's what we'll stick with. We'll see. Oh, I also like doing it as a pin light. Again, it's all trial and error. Color usually ends up making it look kind of old-timey, which might not be a bad thing for later. I like it, I don't love it so far. Okay, I'm gonna do something real quick here. Yeah, you guys get to see my workflow on a lot of these. Okay, I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm just going to group all of these layers because it's a lot of layers. And then I'm just gonna, combine that one down into it. And then I'm gonna just drop them into one. I want this to feel a little bit old-timey, so I'm gonna do full on that. And we're going to add a little bit of noise maybe. Let's see. Guess we want to do it to this layer. I just wanted to have a little something extra going on. I'll see which of those I like better. Here's a version of both of them so that you can kind of see which one you think is better. They are pretty much the same, I'll be honest. But let me know what your thoughts are, and thank you so much for watching this. Thankful for the people who are out there making a difference, the people who are loving other people, genuinely caring for other people right now, and that is important to be doing. I know that's a little ironic to say when I just drew a picture of a turkey eating, like destroying people, eviscerating them. Volunteer out there, find the people who need help people who need help, like care about your fellow human being. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see me draw some other things, talk about art, just discuss the form in general, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and comment down below what you think I should draw next. Otherwise, I'll catch you later. I haven't decided if I'm gonna end these the same way I do the other ones. I'm still not your dad, I just don't know if it's like about that.